As mentioned in your headlines tonight, former governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka had left for Singapore hours before the court report on the Treasury bond scam is to be produced before Parliament.
We have received some information now. Tomorrow, the official report of the chairman of CORP on the Treasury bond scam will be presented to Parliament. The main person alleged to have been involved in this scam, Arjun Mahendran, has left the country around 15 minutes from the airport. This is the reality. However, his passport cannot be impounded because the Sri Lankan judiciary has no right to impound the passport of a foreign national. He has now left. The net of the Minister of Fisheries is not sufficient to nab the shark. It broke through the net.
When contacted this evening, the Office of Immigration and Immigration at the Bandaranaike International Airport confirmed that Arjun Mahendran left for Singapore at around 2 this afternoon.
The CORP report on the Treasury bond scam at the Central Bank of Sri Lanka is to be produced in Parliament tomorrow. The report has clearly named Arjun Mahendran as the main person involved in this scam. It is also reported that the report has made recommendations on the measures that need to be taken on him. These are recommendations that are made to bring those accountable before the law and to reclaim the loss. However, today Arjun Mahendran has left the country. Not only Arjun Mahendran, former Additional Secretary of the Ministry of Defence Damayanti Jayawardena, charged over the avant-garde issue, has fled the country. 2 board directors of Namal Rajapaksa's Hello Corp had left the country. Udayanga Weeratunga, a relative of Mahinda Rajapaksa who is accused over the MIG deal, has also left the country. Fraudsters have looted public funds in millions and billions and are attempting to leave the country. What the government should have done is this. Arjun Mahendran's connections over the Treasury bonds have led to controversy. Therefore, the government must take an immediate measure. The government has created the way for them to leave the country when the CORP report is being presented. Economists say that the loss of the central bank is over 50 billion and that Arjun Aloysius' company has profited in 1,000 million. These are public funds. When these corrupt persons are escaping with the public funds, the UNP, which has paved the way for them to do that, must not only take responsibility for it, but must also take measures to bring those persons before the law. We call on the President to use his executive powers in order to protect the people's money. When they stepped down from the central bank, the leaders of this country protected their friends by giving them other positions. As the anti-corruption front, we are strong with our stand that the law should be implemented against this relationship between the father-in-law and the son-in-law, and they should be punished for the fraud they have committed. Furthermore, the wealth they have acquired should be reclaimed and the relief needs to be provided to the people. Though they have left the country via international law, they need to be brought back and placed before the law so that they can be punished. The smuggler known as Udayanga Weeratunga was involved in many fraudulent activities and brought disrepute to the country. He is operating internationally and we do not see any action being taken against him. The current government is following the same process on Arjun Mahendran. The operations of ministers in this regard is disappointing. State ministers are exerting influence on media institutions based on their relationships to stop this revelation. Therefore, the role of the media is to not operate based on relationships, but to act in a manner that results in the betterment of the citizens. We inform those ministers to stop exerting any influence on media institutions that are serving the people. It is in fact disgraceful that some ministers are defending Arjun Mahendran unconditionally. We inform those ministers to stop these acts and not use the resources of the nation for this.
ගියාට අපිට ගැටලුවක් නැහැ රටේ සම්පත් ඒවා වෙනුවෙන් භාවිතා වීම පිළිබඳව අපිට විශාල ගැටලුවක් තියෙනවා ඊට එරෙහිව අපි කටයුතු කරනවා